Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Content Marketing Strategies webinar, Courseware launch webinar. We're excited to have you here. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Chad Gray. I'm a product marketing manager here at Stu-Kent, and I've been on a few webinars in my days here at Stu-Kent, so you may have recognized me. If not, it's nice to meet you all, and we're happy to have you here. I wanted to start off by maybe getting you guys familiar with the chat feature here to the right. And a few of you already are doing it, but if you would like to, will you go ahead and introduce yourself and say where you're from, where you're logging in from, and maybe just a little fun fact about you or what you teach. Maybe what if you're a Stu-Kent customer, what products you use, and we'll get to know you. I'm also curious to know if anyone attended last week's product launch event. If we have any attendees from there on here, let us know if you were able to make that. That was fun. We launched 4 new simulations, including Mimic Content Marketing, which we're going to touch on a little bit today. And yeah, it's good to have you all. So we got some people from California, New Mexico, let's see, Nebraska, Tennessee. We're all over the United States today. I am coming at you guys live from Utah. So that's where I reside. I work remote here. And it's been a blast working with Stu-Kent. Awesome, guys. Thanks for chiming in and letting us know where you're from. And I apologize if I'm looking over here to my right, because I have my notes over here. So just bear with me as I sneak a peek over here every now and then. So let's see. So yes, we're excited to be here today with Nick Mattar, one of our newest authors. But before I introduce him and get his presentation going, I'd like to introduce his courseware by playing a quick video. It's just a couple minutes long, but I think it will help us get in the mindset of what we're going to hear today from Nick. So if I could have someone from my team load that up and play that, that'd be great.
Content marketing. It's a critical skill for marketers in today's digital age. Over 80% of marketers report actively using content marketing to help generate leads, move customers through the marketing funnel, and more. Content Marketing Strategies, Planning, Creating, and Distributing Content by Nick Mattar is designed to give students the content marketing skills they need to perform in today's marketing world. It addresses a wide variety of business needs, including B2B and B2C marketing, and includes more than 200 examples of videos, podcasts, blogs, webinars, and more. Plus, you'll get all the resources you need to provide an engaging learning experience, including a syllabus, course schedule, lesson plans, lecture slides, assignments, quizzes, and more. And for the ultimate content marketing experience, pair the courseware with its companion simulation, Mimic Content Marketing. When bundled together, students get 25 opportunities to create new, unique content and also receive individualized feedback. Give your students the skills they need to succeed as marketers. Fill out the form on this page and get free instructor access to content marketing strategies, planning, creating, and distributing content. You'll even get the full suite of student and instructor resources.
Weird thing with echo when they play videos, and I forgot to mute my microphone. So if at the beginning you weren't able to hear very well, I'll have my team put up a link to the content marketing landing page so that you can click and go watch the video there, and also request access to the book. And because we're going to be diving into it a lot today, and we'd love to have you guys get into it today for free. With instant access, you'll get limited access, student access, I should say, to the courseware, and you'll be able to check it out for yourself, look at all of the resources, and see if it's a fit for you specifically or for what you would like to teach in the future. So go ahead and check it out and click the link there, and make sure to request access and get into it. Awesome. Thank you guys. So that's the new content marketing courseware, and hopefully you guys are excited to hear about it. I also want to, as a thank you to everyone attending here, I'd love to give you all a sample syllabus from the courseware as a handout, so you can download that today and check it out and see if it's a good fit for you and your class, and follow along with what Nick's going to talk about today with his courseware. So go ahead and download that and take a look and see if you like it and everything. So while you're doing that, let me just check my notes real quick. Okay, looks like we're good. Okay. So, I would like to say that as Nick is presenting, feel free to use the chat over here and ask questions. Nick does feel comfortable answering questions throughout his presentation, so he'll do his best to do that. If he doesn't get to a question or it's not the right moment, we will come back to it and we will save it for the Q&A at the very end. So stay tuned till the very end to get your question answered if it doesn't in the moment. But yeah, utilize that chat, and we want this to be as interactive as possible for everyone. So with that being said, I will bring on Nick now, and I'll give him a little introduction and then turn the time over to him. So Nick Mattar has worked with content marketing since he was in high school, experimenting with his MySpace profile. He now teaches digital marketing at multiple universities across the United States and is the founder of Digital Detroit, a digital marketing training company based in Michigan. He received his MBA from Wayne State University in Detroit and his bachelor's degree in English and communications from the University of Michigan. He lives in Southeast Michigan with his wife and 2 sons, and Nick enjoys watching and playing basketball, blogging about digital marketing, and reading classic literature. So without further ado, everyone, Nick Mattar, take it away.
Thanks so much, Chad. And hopefully everybody can hear me. Chad, you got kind of soft there at the end during the intro. But I got to say, it's strange seeing a video with a narrator saying your name. It's really interesting to say the least. But so my name is Nick Mattar, as Chad said. I'm honored to be here today and to share this new courseware that I've developed along with the student team. So I go through a quick presentation, kind of go through the overview of the course, where it's applicable, some of the principles that I've been utilizing, and then hopefully we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So yeah, the name of the textbook, Content Marketing Strategies, Planning, Creating, and Distributing Content. So 16 chapters, lots of great stuff, not only about content and content marketing. There's a little bit about marketing principles, an overview of a couple of other topics, such as social media, for example, a little bit about analytics, a little bit about advertising, just a lot of different digital marketing topics, because that's really what content marketing has become, really this aggregation of a lot of different digital marketing fundamentals brought together. As Chad mentioned, I have 10 plus years of digital marketing and content creation and content marketing experience. I teach at 3 different schools here in the US, and I have my own little side hustle as well, Digital Detroit, based out of here in Michigan. And obviously I teach at Wayne State. I have my lovely Wayne State sweater on from Detroit, where it's a sunny 28 degrees. So just a couple of major themes that I'm going to go over today in the agenda here, starting with really why content marketing. But I really think the why starts with the what. So this is the definition I take from the Content Marketing Institute. Really, I mean, if there's one authority on content marketing, I guess, besides myself, Content Marketing Institute is really where it started with Joe Polizzi about 20 years ago. And he founded Content Marketing Institute. He now has another company. And really a lot of the basics started there with him and his team. And obviously the definition might be here, but I look at content marketing as simply put as creating value for customers with the objective of driving a preconceived, like, profitable action. I go through a couple different definitions in the courseware, and really I come back to this multiple times over the course of the book, because it's really important to understand in content marketing a lot of the marketing principles that many students have. Many students might have classes in separately, or maybe this is the first time that they're being exposed to it. But really writing for a desired audience that you have, and also having a goal that's not just reading or watching or listening the piece of content. But really, content marketing has become staple. There's hundreds of businesses competing in all sorts of industries. I've seen content marketing companies that are focused just on these very small niches. You have content marketing agencies that are focused on the law industry. You have on the legal industry. You have content marketing companies focused in healthcare, in home improvement, construction, real estate. It's really interesting seeing these profitable businesses popping up everywhere across the world, all focused on what they can do to create content for businesses. But also you have in-house teams. You have in-house experts. You have entire content teams. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I follow a couple of individuals who lead entire content teams. And really, they're looked at as the place where revenue comes from in their businesses. And so as content marketing is becoming more and more of a staple of marketing and business in general, so too is the importance of really understanding the fundamentals and strategies behind it when you are going through that educational process. You look at the jobs that are out there right now. I just grabbed this quick screenshot from LinkedIn Jobs. If you just search content marketing, at any given time, there's between 50 and 70,000 jobs that are looking for something with content marketing, some sort of content marketing experience, or they are looking for content marketing as part of the role. Sometimes, obviously, these aren't all content marketing titled positions like these first three you see here. But at the same time, an understanding of content marketing is pivotal to success in marketing. And I mean, I would even argue in a lot of writing roles, even if they're not specifically marketing. Because 84% of businesses claim to have a content marketing strategy today. They claim. This was a study done by, or a survey, I would say, done by SEMrush a little while back. They're really getting into the content marketing game now, and have been recently since before, and also since filing their IPO earlier in the year. And not only did they find that 84% of businesses claim to have a content marketing strategy, but only 11% of those businesses claim to have an excellent one. That shows a lot of room for growth, not just in the business, but where students as entry-level content marketers can come in and make an impact immediately. And as a business person myself, I teach an MBA course here at Wayne State, and then also teach undergrad digital marketing courses. I see the need for students to have as much background and experience with looking at examples and creative side of marketing as possible before they join the job market. And really, content marketing is something I personally, as one who has been doing digital marketing my whole career, I mean, it was really something that was all trial and error for me. Being able to put it together into a really cohesive courseware like I've been working on for the last year, that's really kind of a big part of getting students not only more skilled at content marketing, but also being able to think in the ways of how can content help improve this business, or how we communicate with a certain audience. Now, there are some what we like to call resume builders that come out of the courseware. You can see this somewhere I think it might actually be on the syllabus. But we're looking really at 5 different resume builders throughout the course. First off, being able to develop content strategies and goals to align with larger business objectives. Content marketing in a vacuum in itself really doesn't do much other than provide some entertainment. A big part of the game is being able to actually lead to some sort of success that can be measured, whether or not it's on the bottom line or through brand awareness or something else. It's really imperative that there's both the creative and the quantifiable side included. But when you say content strategies, that also means being able to build content. So we look at 4 different types of content creation. They all have their own chapters. Written content, or really blogs. We have audio content, largely podcasts. You have visual, which is a lot of infographics, and of course, video. Now, there's different types of content that goes into each of those. For example, audio is not just podcasting. There can be a playlist that can act as a content marketing mechanism. With visuals, infographics are one of about a dozen different types of visuals, from photos to data visualizations to charts to even cartoon strips. Those are making a comeback here as well. Memes, GIFs. Being able to utilize those in a way to further a brand is really the name of the game when it comes to building those types of content. But also you need to be able to optimize for SEO. Search engine optimization is important, largely with written content, but there's also ways to integrate that with the other forms, as is explained throughout the book. Then also, how do you provide value to a specified target? That is a big thing that is heavy in the beginning of the text, but then is also it's conveyed throughout the whole thing. And really, as a content marketer, that was one of the last things I unfortunately realized, that you need to be creating content specifically for an audience, not for you, not for your boss, not for one person, maybe for one persona, but really there needs to be an audience that's going to get value out of this. And then finally, we have how to manage a content development strategy, looking at budget and the resources available. That is really where the simulation comes in, and where you are actually taking a predetermined budget and you are assigning content creation to different people on a team. Then they bring their content back. You can analyze it and you can actually make determinations and know, is this working? How do we make adjustments? How do we repurpose, update? While at the same time, the student is creating content as well. That's really kind of become the reality of content marketing, is that, yes, you could be a content director or a content marketing manager where you're overseeing staff and managing people. But the ability to actually create content is always going to have to be there at some level. Another big thing about the text is that we, in the courseware, is that we try to promote creativity. I found somewhere between 200 and 250 examples of content marketing throughout the textbook itself. And that actually might be closer to 300, because I just went off of the images that I like, the visual support and the videos that I've used. It's completely littered with different successful examples that have been deployed by brands and individuals over the last 10, 15. There's also some historical examples, but over the course of content marketing history. And as I mentioned before, it's not limited to your basic forms of content. We have a whole chapter that is completely dedicated to how to utilize events, how to utilize white papers, ebooks, and interactive content like calculators. While those things in themselves are not content, they are great drivers of content, and being able to get students into that mindset where they say, hey, how can this be a content opportunity? That is really the name of the game here when it comes to creativity. I did a lot of research, non-academic research, on how to get students thinking more creatively and not just in creating this, but also over the course of my career. How do I get my How do I get the people that I hire to be thinking more creatively? I've looked at thousands of resumes. I've interviewed hundreds of entry-level marketers and hired a couple dozen. And what I've found is that the creativity is absolutely of the utmost importance as an entry-level digital marketer, whether it's specific to content marketing or not. Being able to create content in any form, being able to look at something and turn it into content that provides value and resonates with an audience, absolutely pivotal. So I like to leave it with the question is, what are some other things that you see that relate to the brand or your company or even your personal brand that can lead to new content ideas? A lot of times this is on social media. You see a lot of people, especially now on TikTok, you see content creation is such a big part of just the whole online marketing world. You even have Gen Z at this point where they're changing the name of the game, where businesses are still working in person. They still build retail and in-person experiences, but that's what it needs to be. It needs to be an experience, because a lot of times Gen Z and some of the younger millennials, a lot of younger people, a lot of content creators, they're going to places and they want to be able to create content from it. They want to be able to create something shareable, something creative, a place that promotes creativity. And while we don't go into too much depth into something like that, it is a phenomenon I wanted to mention here, as it's really something important where everybody has this creativity. It's really important to get them thinking about it in the right way, how to promote it in the right way, and have it lead to the proper outcomes where it can actually be used for good for a brand or for their full-time position, whatever it may be. So we look at the actual content creation piece, not just the need for it, but we have so much, as the video showed you. There's a lot that goes into the content creation of in this course. Not only is there readings and examples in the textbook, but the assignments and the simulation have students creating all types of content. Sometimes topics will be assigned to them, as will be the case when they're in the working world. Sometimes the topics are completely up to the students. Being able to go back and forth, create different types of content, such as blogs, being able to record a quick audio clip, kind of pseudo podcasting, being able to record a video, all really baked into the courseware. But really, we're not going, the courseware isn't going to make a student go out and produce a 10-minute film. That's not, yes, that's part of content marketing, but there's only so much we can do here. And we look at students as individuals or parts of teams in creating content. And really, the simulation specifically tries to take away the heavy production of it, where students can instead focus on the content itself, focus on what is it that's providing the value, that also that they can do anything with just a phone or a computer with video capabilities. A lot of YouTube sensations right now, influencers on YouTube and TikTok, use nothing more than their phone and their computer. Obviously, as they make it big, they get more capabilities, but we try to isolate and distill down the creation process to be more about the content itself and not specifically the production value. But then from there, the career trajectory in content marketing, as was kind of the case with myself as well, is you go from being a creator, but then also you need to be able to manage. And while this isn't a course on management, if a student has courseware for that, this is looking at how you disperse the content creation, how you create strategies and calendars, and also the ability to review others' content and make recommendations. Again, the simulation is really big on that, where you're going to create content and a peer is going to review it. They're not going to be in charge of your final grade, but they're going to be they're going to be tasked with providing some takeaways and some actual recommendations. Really, anybody can create the content, and our hope is that part of this is about the promoting the creativity and the creation of it, then also being able to see other content, and being able to properly disperse and actually, get others, being able to bring together a team of content creators so that they can work together towards the greater goals of the brand or the business. Then we also have the ability to think analytically. This is a big goal that I have. While there's only one chapter that is solely devoted to analytics, at the same time, being able to quantitatively reason and analytically think through content success is really imperative and is a big part of the latter part of the textbook itself. You need to be able to analyze and update and refresh your content. That's a cornerstone of content marketing, being able to look at your blog posts from 6, 8, 12 months ago and being able to say, okay, which one do I want to update and which one am I going to be able to get the most value out of without having to go through the whole process of creating new content from scratch. Then we also look at how to create a proper analytics report. Content marketing is where it is today because the pioneers were able to show its quantitative value, its empirical value to the decision makers and the people that actually write the paychecks. And it's important that that skill isn't lost because your upward mobility as a content marketer will often be dependent on you being able to show those results to the higher ups. And being able to instill that mindset with students is going to really set them up for success down the line. It might not be something that they're going to be doing on day one in their jobs or in their internships, but it's something that's going to come up eventually. And as I've seen, every great content creator is going to have a chance to show their success. But when that time comes and say you created a great blog post that led to, $2,000 in new revenue, a good manager is going to come to you and say, hey, I want you there to present your success. I want you there to present this. This analytical mindset, and specifically this chapter on analytics, is going to prepare them for creating the right kind of report to show those successes and those key performance indicators, those KPIs. So that's a general overview of the courseware itself, but I did want to go through the different tracks and courses that this book could really be applicable to, this courseware could be applicable for. Obviously, if you have a content marketing course, this is your thing. There's enough assignments and simulation work, enough content work to keep students busy for a whole semester. Absolutely. In the lesson plans, you can split chapters up over the course of a couple different periods, and the examples are all great and can lead to really enriched discussions between the instructor and the students. But then also, if you have a larger digital marketing program, maybe content marketing isn't a class right now, which is okay. You can combine it with the digital marketing essentials courseware. You can combine it with other topics. There's all these different topics of digital marketing in general. They all intersect with content marketing somewhere. If there's not an adequate content creation piece of your digital marketing program, I'm not just trying to sell this here. You really do need some sort of content creation to be integrated, added to the program somewhere. And the good thing about this text is that it can be supplemented with a lot of other different coursewares with Stukent and with supplemental readings. And then for all you comm professors out there, I'm a former comm student myself. I wish that I had something like this when I was an undergrad or even in grad school getting my MBA. There's, with the emphasis on content creation and the fact that you're creating content to communicate to an audience, it absolutely will work for a comms class that is, writing for the internet, online communicating. All of those, they're very much they're very heavy on the communications principles. You see those in other comms courses. I remember some myself that when I was a student, I never thought I'd remember it again, but I found myself going back to those today. We also have chapters on marketing fundamentals and the different content types, so that if you are a communication student, you know nothing about marketing, which I'm guessing most comm students know a little bit, that's a good introduction that will not only get you through the rest of this course, not through the rest of the courseware, but will also better equip you for whatever the profession is that you're going into. Even if it's a journalism thing. I wanted to be a journalist when I was in high school. I was the editor of my newspaper. I wanted to be a journalist for the first 2 years of undergrad. And it wasn't until later that I was learning these marketing principles. And when I finally was able to use that, learn these marketing principles, I realized, man, that I could have used this a long time ago. Being able to target, being able to position properly, really, really helpful as a comms student, and now as an instructor. Finally, we have any course that has content in it. I wanted to put this catch-all as a key piece of this presentation. If you have a course that requires much in the way of content creation, absolutely, and you're looking for more ways to create content in assignments, this is the place to look. Also, as an English major, again, something like this would have absolutely fulfilled the English credit because of the amount of content that you could feasibly have students creating through this course. Courseware elements are both introductory and content intensive. So it's a good combination going back and forth between, this isn't the super intense textbook that is for people that have been working in content marketing for 10 years. This is for students that are looking to start a career in content creation, or, maybe not in just any writing, but this also can work when it comes to something like professional writing, because while professional writing is done in a different style as content marketing, a lot of the same principles apply. So finally, we have our tips and tricks, just a couple of quick notes I wanted to share here. First, if you are a teaching graduate level course, MBA course, I would recommend pairing this with some supplementary readings at least. Again, this is great for undergrads, great for, pairing together with other things. Just, as say a capstone course, this definitely needs a little bit more to it, or else you're going to have a capstone course of just content creation. Social media courses, and social media is a big part of this courseware. I think social media is a major topic in more than half of the chapters, and there's two of the longer chapters are completely dedicated to social media. That's really a staple of content marketing. Everything on social media can be construed as content marketing in one way or another. But you could combine this with either of Stuken's social media courseware pieces, social media marketing and essentials of social media. And I'll be doing that for my social media course that I teach this upcoming semester. I'll be combining social media marketing plus this content marketing together. Will really have a good combination of strategy and creation for students. And I'm teaching final semester, final year MBA students. I see Fernand here. We're thinking of mixing it with SEO and rank math and content calendars and social media publishing. Absolutely. It definitely works there. You see a lot of those elements throughout the book. Search engine optimization, there's a chapter on that. And on page, SEO is a big part of the blogging chapter too. I didn't want to omit that. I didn't want to put that later. I think a big part of blogging is being able to write for SEO for optimization. So that's an absolutely great piece there. Content calendar, yeah. The content calendar comes in more towards the end when you do a content audit and you're looking at kind of the business of content marketing. So that's a great combination as well. And yeah, anything social media is going to work really well. And then I see Brian's question I will address here as I go through the slide. Looking at the assignments in this course, it not only puts an emphasis on content creation, but being able to create content over time for a brand and developing more of a comprehensive content strategy and content history. So what this means is all the assignments, as you may all remember or see in other courses, each book has an assignment at the end of each chapter. So here, all of the assignments stack on top of each other. So you're going to have a B2B and a B2C client as the crux of the assignment. You are the content marketer for both of these businesses. You are going to be going through all sorts of exercises at the beginning. Who is the target audience? What are the business goals? What do they have the resources to do? Then you'll be writing a blog post. You'll be trying a podcast. You'll be creating a video. You'll be reviewing events. You'll be doing all sorts of things. And then at the end, we revisit that content, check and see what should we be updating and refreshing based on the current climate. How do we create these reports at the end for the C-suite and show that we've done a good job and that we deserve a raise, or we deserve to re-up, or they should re-up our contract. All of those come together into what I believe to be a fairly realistic content marketer engagement with a business. So I would kind of answer Brian's question in that way, where it's kind of all together. All of those assignments work really well, and I didn't want to limit it to being B2B or B2C, which is why there's one of each. One is I think it's a donut shop, if I remember correctly, and one is an email marketing software company. I have seen actual examples in both of those very specific industries. And for me, I considered those to be good, very disparate examples where you're going to be creating very different types of content. Laura says, do you provide the brands? For the assignments, the company is outlined. It's not a known brand. I didn't want to get too much into perception of existing brands. Also, because all of the big brands are doing content marketing, so I wanted to make it where the student needs to do their own research and not just see what an existing business is doing right now. I originally was going to have Coca-Cola be one of them in the assignments, and I realized you could just go in and see what they've been doing. I mean, they spend a lot of money on content creation, a lot of different forms. Now, I will say all of the examples, of course, are known brands. Like I think I put the Berea pasta has this great TikTok randomly. So all sorts of oddball examples where I scoured the internet for the best content marketing examples I could find, both B2B and B2C, even some examples of B2B to C, those organizations, looking at some nonprofits. So a lot of different types of work where content creation could be a little bit different. Really important for students to get exposed to a lot of that different work. But then to wrap up the simulation piece, the end of chapter assignments are really good for content creation for that first half of the semester, as you'll see in the syllabus. The second half is largely about analyzing, optimizing, refreshing, and updating, and creating reports. But then that second half is really where the simulation comes in and the content creation becomes heavy there. So the way I planned it out, I think if I did it correctly, there can be a piece of content every week if you are teaching this on a 14 or 15 week semester. To look at April's question, is this something that could work in the high school level? This could work at the high school level. The content creation might be a little much, so you may want to pick and choose what you're having them do. I think high school seniors this could work with them. I wouldn't have high school freshmen or sophomores do this. But admittedly, there's a lot of introductory topics that will be perfectly okay with high school students. But again, remember, the idea here is that this is great for anybody that has an interest in content marketing who does not have content marketing experience. If you are a seasoned content marketing professional, this book is not going to be really for you. Maybe the last couple of chapters where we look at affiliate marketing, content marketing as a business, and portfolio creation. But really, I think older high school seniors could work for them. I encourage you to check it out and see. I don't teach high schoolers, and I haven't in a long time or ever. So, I can't be the final. Don't take my word for it. I would just look at it yourself. So finally, I just have one. This is my last slide here on examples. I've tried to include as many as humanly possible in this courseware. I wrote a sample chapter about a year ago for this, and we had some peers review it. And I remember thinking, like, I wrote it so fast, I think I included one example. And I went back and looked at it and thought, this is just me telling people how blogging works. I don't want to be just telling people. I want to show people through great examples that I've seen over the course of my life and that I've seen in other communications. So I've probably spent more time looking at examples, looking through and looking for where content marketing has worked. I've probably done that spent more time on that than I did actually physically writing. For me, it was so I had plenty in my mind that I could remember, and I've seen all sorts of successful content marketing. But for me, I wanted to be able to really share lots of links, embedding videos when I can, embedding podcasts when possible, and obviously the blogs that are pervasive throughout the internet. Because really, from what I have seen online and from what I have experienced as a manager, most content marketers are learning from looking at other examples at work. I was writing a blog post myself, and I interviewed a guy that had a great marketing campaign for the Weather Channel about 10 years ago called Tornado Week, and it was really successful. And I asked him what his inspiration was, and he said, we just took a bunch of other successful campaigns and put our own innovative twist on it. And I thought, you know what, that's kind of what I do too. You don't usually see people just come out and say that, but if you think about it, like with content marketing, there's a million examples out there, and to come up with something truly unique and something that nobody's ever seen before is going to be hard to do. But being able to look at hundreds of examples over time, over the course of a 10, 12, 14, 15-week semester, that's where you can really get creative, and you can be really prepared as a student to go out and create content ideas, create things that are going to provide value for the audience while also providing value to the business. And that's really where all this comes together. It's all about trying new things. This whole courseware is a new thing for me, and I hope you all will enjoy it as well. So thank you so much. Chad, I don't know if you have questions that I missed, but please feel free to ask away.
Yeah. First of all, thanks, Nick, for sharing your thoughts and everything. That was awesome. We did have a couple questions that I'll go over with you. And
I see one right here while you pull those up. The top 3 things that I envision students being able to take away from the book. Well, the first one, if we're talking really tactical and not quite as ambiguous like the resume builders on the slides, number 1 is going to be to be able to actually create content that is not just for your personal enjoyment. Being able to create content that has a tilt to it, to take Joe Polizzi's term, that has a proper tilt that will not only get you results and provide value, but that is also going to build brand awareness. That would be number 1. Number 2 is being able to think about different types of content, not just blogs and videos. That's very much dominates the content marketing discourse. But what about podcasts? But this kind of goes hand in hand with the third point, is making sure that you have the resources and the capacity and the infrastructure to do what you want to do. a big part of the podcasting chapter is realizing that you're making the right decision in doing it. You don't just want to just be everywhere. You don't want to do every type of content. Like 75% of podcasts don't make it past a year. So if you're going to do some sort of content creation and it's going to be part of a strategy, you need to make sure that you can see it through and that you have the abilities to do that. Because we want to promote creativity, but we don't want to promote it so much that these ideas are going to fall flat. You need things that are going to be able to stand the test of time, and are actually can legitimately be done.
Question right here. She says, what kind of technology does the simulation use to create videos, podcasts, infographics, etc.? In the simulation, we allow students to build blogs using our blog builder. They can also record videos using a video recording software. And then they also can do podcasts using similar video recording software. So those three things they're able to do within the simulation. And it's pretty cool because students can get as creative as they want with it, and can submit, their own ideas and come up with their own creative podcasts, blogs, videos. So those are the three things they're able to do as of right now. Who knows what the future has? We might, incorporate other things into the simulation. But as of right now, they can do videos, podcasts, and blogs. So pretty cool stuff. And no other simulation does that. So kind of unique. Let's see. So I have a couple questions over here that I'd like to ask you. And if anyone else has one, just feel free to write it in the chat. So one thing I wanted to know is, where do you think a content marketing course would fit in a marketing degree at any given university?
So it really depends on the other courses that exist. So it could go, so if in like a progression of courses, I usually consider content marketing to either be at the front end, right after an intro course, or at the back end, right before a capstone. The reason being that it can work as not an intro course, but an almost intro course, because of the approach it takes to content creation and how so many of these principles are then applied in other areas. I think it's probably a good idea. Like you can take it before an SEO course, because the basics of SEO are covered here. Nothing like the SEO courseware that Sukin has, like nothing like that, but it's enough to get you through and create something that's going to rank well if the content is providing value. On the other hand, it could work at the end because it brings together all of those elements. If you're going to create a marketing video of some sort, that's, again, combining a lot of elements that you would see in other marketing courses, whether it's going to be something like consumer behavior, if it's marketing management, if it's something about consumer research. Those are all going to, content marketing brings those all together as well. So you can use that as an intro or kind of that final aggregation.
Not only in a wide variety of majors almost, but in a wide variety of classes as well. Like you can combine it with, different, maybe a social media class or digital marketing class or something like that. So that sounds pretty cool. I did also want to ask specifically about, does the courseware focus more on creating content or the strategy of content, or how does it manage those two ideas of content marketing?
I would say there's probably maybe not quite 50-50. It's probably more 60-40 strategy versus creation. The one downside to the content creation side is that it's kind of impossible to simulate how exactly somebody is going to be creating content on the job. I've always worked on a WordPress website throughout my professional career. So on one side, like you could have students like go through the whole process of like creating a website and creating content, which some people are going to inevitably have to do in their professional careers. But instead, like rather than having people learn all these different applications, I decided to stick with really the content itself, not the mechanisms that you utilize to push them out to the world or to publish them. On the strategy side, I think we do a pretty good job of covering different situations, covering as many situations as possible, while also touching back on the topics, fundamentals of marketing. I use that buyer's journey from awareness down to action and loyalty. That's probably mentioned in 8 or 10 chapters. And so reverting back to the idea of what's the purpose of this content as well. It's creating value for the audience and for the business, but what is that value to the business, and how does that actually move a prospective customer or an existing customer through that funnel?
Well, cool, Nick. That is all the questions that I have and that I've seen. So is there anything else you'd like to leave us with today before we wrap up?
I don't think so. We're always open to feedback. This course, the courseware can work for any length semester. It could be 8 weeks. It could be up to 15 or 16 weeks. The sample syllabus covers, if it was a 14-week course, meeting twice a week. Now, that can be combined. The chapters are not overbearing. You can pick and choose the how much content creation goes into it. Yeah. The sample syllabus, 28, not 28 weeks, but 28 actual class periods, just because a lot of undergrad classes meet twice a week. But yeah, you can pick and choose. You can combine chapters if you need to. You could stretch it out as long as you want as well. I encourage looking at the lesson plans for that. And it really, length of time, it's pretty flexible. Yeah. And I see that we do have another question about content creation methods that have proven to be effective. But in terms of creation methods, the first thing I think of is going through the process of the buyer persona process, understanding who it is that you're creating content for, and then understanding what the business goals of this are, if it's a campaign, and then being able to also look at the mediums that work for your audience. And so that is outlined in the book as well, looking at your audience, looking at your business or brand, looking at the ways that you deliver the content. Is it social? Are you big on Twitter? Are you big on Facebook? Your website gets a lot of traffic. Do you have a lot of YouTube followers, subscribers? And then creating the content with those different things in mind, and understanding how the consumers consume content is another big piece. And content marketing is something that brings together a lot of marketing and communications, and even English language principles together to really create a cohesive strategy that a lot of businesses are itching to effectively do. Because as you saw earlier, they all claim to have one. They all claim to have a marketing strategy, content marketing strategy, but very few are actually effective at it. And so the goal of this course is to help get students prepared to be that effective content creator and manager in wherever they go after school. So I'll leave you with that.
Thank you for being on here, and everyone who attended as well. Again, go check out Nick's courseware, Content Marketing Strategies, as well as the simulation Mimic Content Marketing. And let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help out. And we will send the recording of this webinar to all the registrants, as well as all the handouts and things that were mentioned. So anyways, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, Nick, again.
Thanks, everybody.